interested in private line connectivity between offices to your cloud applications to SaaS providers? Or in other words, would you be interested in having your own real private internet? If so, then this is a quick fact video for you. I'm Paul Mako, the CTO at Massive Networks, and I've been managing and teaching about network services for over 20 years now. Massive Networks is an e-access, e-transit provider, also known as a managed network provider. We extend the LAN worldwide with managed last-mile carrier Ethernet solutions that connect directly to clouds, SaaS, IaaS, video, voice, backups, all on a single handoff. We do the connection between many providers to over 1.7 million buildings in the country and many more throughout the world. This gives you a true, real, private internet just for you. In this short tutorial, we'll start off by going over general network architecture, and then we'll move into some of the frequently asked questions that revolve around typical setups like MPLs and how they measure up against carrier Ethernet network. Network architecture is a framework for specifying the physical components that lead into your applications. The network architecture of the Internet is predominantly expressed by its use of Internet Protocol Suite rather than a specific model within the OSI. Interconnecting networks or nodes to the network or usage of specific types of hardware links, whereas Ethernet and MPLS are all designed around the OSI model or the network model. So let's go into what the OSI model is. The Open Systems Interconnection Model is a product of the Open Systems Interconnection effort at the International Organization for Standardization, ISO. It's simply a way of subdividing the communication system into small parts called layers. A layer is a collection of similar functions that provide services to the layer above it and receive services from the layer below it. So it's simply a way for the designers to utilize the various parts of a connection between an application in one computer and an application in another computer. In the 7-layer OSI model of computer networking, layer 1 is basically the wires and the ports that they connect to on your computer or on servers or on network devices. It provides pulses of light or pulses of electricity to give you the ones and zeros that all computers are designed to work on. The second layer is the data link layer of the OSI model of computer networking. This layer is the protocol layer that transfers data between adjacent network nodes. Nodes are simply computers or network devices that are talking to each other. This layer has the envelope that holds everything. It's called a frame, and it holds all of the pluses and minuses that are built into all of the layers that are coming. Each one of these things is carried in the envelope, and the envelope is delivered from site to site in layer 2. This is why Ethernet is so efficient, is because it works with the envelope rather than what's inside the envelope. The next layer is the network layer. It's layer 3. It works in packets. The packets live inside of the envelope. And this network layer is how the internet works. It's how MPLS works. Layer 3 is a routed layer. Thus, everything on the internet is routed. Everything in MPLS is routed. No Ethernet traffic can pass over a routed network, whereas all Ethernet traffic is encapsulated in those envelopes and it can be passed across the network. Layer 4 is the transport layer, which is the conceptual division of methods in the layered architecture of protocols in the network stack. This is the layer that's responsible for making sure that all of the packets and the envelopes get to their destination correctly. It provides services in connection-oriented communication, reliability, flow control, and multiplexing. The 5th layer is a session layer that provides the mechanism for opening, closing, managing sessions between end-user applications and processes. Communication sessions consist of requests and responses that occur between applications. So this is where you're finally involved with using the networks. Your application is directly connected to the network at this point. The sixth layer is the presentation layer. This is the layer that's made for you. It's the delivery and formatting of information to the application layer for further processing or displaying. The next is the seventh and final layer, which is the application layer. This is an abstraction layer that specifies the shared communication protocols and interface methods. Basically, this is how your application connects to the internet, connects to everything else, other computers talking to your computer. Now that we've gone over the various functionalities of each layer and their purposes, we can dive deeper into MPLS and Carrier Ethernet and see the difference between them. The telecom marketplace is a fragmented one. It's difficult to understand what options are available and which services are the most economical and most efficient. For the longest time, providers have only been able to deliver private networking through the WAN and through MPLS networks. This was completely separated from the internet. This was extremely expensive. In the beginning, only banks, large enterprises, and some of the government entities could afford to do this. This has become the industry standard throughout the last 10 years, maybe 20. The cost of achieving this kind of private network has been and continues to be very expensive and very inefficient as far as speed and usage. Along comes Carrier Ethernet. This is a $40 billion industry that has been quietly but consistently building underneath in layer 2. It circumvents these bandwidth bottlenecks that are created by the cost of MPLS. It circumvents the internet, which, as we all know, is not private and is not secure, thus the need for a very private network, and in our case, a real private internet. Compared to the traditional MPLS circuits, Carrier Ethernet's dynamic architecture can meet all of the enterprise's private networking requirements along with delivering the best in internet that you can buy. It's also easier to manage than MPLS for today's network, and it's much more flexible when it comes to including cloud, SaaS, colocation, and high bandwidth applications to backup or just pure high bandwidth applications. So let's do a side-by-side comparison. One of the main benefits of using Carrier Ethernet service versus MPLS is that you receive the services at a fraction of the cost. This is the driver for many different things, but the lower latency, the higher throughput, and the very intense flexibility that you get out of this layer 2 Carrier Ethernet just leaves MPLS in the dust. Additionally, Carrier Ethernet has the distinct advantage of being able to plug into an MPLS network, replacing one connection at a time. This is true because the MPLS continues to be routed while the layer 2 allows you to do both routing and layer 2. Very flexible, and it means that you don't have to tear up your network. All you do is, as the contracts come up, you replace it one at a time, saving costs, increasing flexibility. Finally, because the Carrier Ethernet allows for multiple connections, it can be used in the same pipe as the internet connection without going over the internet. This is a very powerful distinction. So you have one pipe. When that pipe comes out into the interconnected provider, one of the VLANs goes to the internet and one goes to your other sites, it goes to the clouds, it goes to SaaS, or you have 5 going to different places, each one private, each one passing across a truly real private internet. Private from all other users and private from all other streams. As IT decision makers look for cost-effective options when upgrading their network infrastructure or other critical components of the business that are relying on its performance, Carrier Ethernet is the viable option to consider. It gives you the flexibility, the speeds, and the cost-effective solution that you're looking for. Thank you for spending the time to review general network architecture. I hope I was able to help you understand some of the differences between Carrier Ethernet and MPLs. For more information on Carrier Ethernet, its benefits, and/or custom network design, contact us at www.massivenetworks.com or 303-800-1300. All of our technicians are trained and certified to provide you with the answers you need for custom network design. Once again, thank you for taking the time to watch our tutorial, and we'll see you next time.